Welcome to the Shekina Meditation Podcast, created by Shekina community members. Shekina communities are dedicated to creating free devotional spaces of Christian practice for spiritual seekers and travelers around the world. We post Christ-centered guided meditation each week to help you in your personal or small group practice. You can find episode show notes and other information at shekinacommunity.com.
Hello, this is Ro.
This is Ray.
This is week 37 of the podcast. We are sitting at the garden, looking at the green grass and the beautiful frangipani tree and the rain that is just now starting to fall.
Imminent.
Imminent rain.
Rain is coming across the sky. It's Thursday, the 13th of June as we record this. And I have a very special shout out for my mom and dad who are having their 40th anniversary tomorrow.
Woohoo!
Wedding anniversary. So happy anniversary, Mom and Dad.
Happy anniversary!
We love you.
Congratulations.
40 years. Good job. Oh my goodness.
Listeners, this podcast is supported by you. Because this podcast is about meditation, we want to keep it ad-free. Our beloved patrons at patreon.com support us for as little as $1 a month, and patrons get extra audio every month as a little thank you. You can find us at patreon.com/Shekina Meditation Podcast.
Yes, you can. Supporting this podcast is not hard, and it helps us know that you love what we're doing, and it helps to keep Shekina communities running and free for travelers and spiritual seekers who wander into our spaces every single week. Patrons, you are the best.
The best.
You are a little curly breeze lifting our hair off our necks.
Oh, such a good feeling.
On a hot day. You know that kind of day when it's kind of still and you just and suddenly there's this little breeze.
Patrons. You're really making a difference. It really helps. So what's been going on for you this week, Ray?
Well, I've been setting up my house and slowly. Yep.
Beautiful.
Box at a time. We started homeschooling again this week. So the other kids that came over and they've been racing around. There's been a lot of kids over every day. It's been pretty fun. Also, we had our first dinner and Bible circle since the move. So everyone was helping to make the house feel cozy and the way it normally is with people around. It just feels good. It's been good. It's been also it's just tricky, moving and transition is tricky. There's lots of new things and the house comes with its own new quirks and interesting things and it's absolutely gorgeous and there's a tiny bit of me that's homesick. So I just, it just takes some time to feel like home.
That's right. And you're a little bit further out of town and you and your family are used to being right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
And even though it's not far out of town, it's enough to make a difference, right?
It makes a difference. You just have to plan a little bit differently. Definitely want to have milk in your house the night before if you're feeding a bunch of people breakfast in the morning. Wow, it's just started raining. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's quite lovely.
Oh, so nice.
I finished an edit of a book.
Yes, you did!
I'm very excited about that. It's a book that's going to be released under my pen name. So maybe at the time that it's released, I'll just put a little link to my blog and people can check that out if they want to.
Can't wait to read it.
And yeah, what else? Oh yeah, homeschooling. So we have been homeschooling this week. And we've been reading about Sudanese refugees in the 1980s. And it's still a current topic here. So here in the present time. So yeah, the kids and I have been trying to think about ways that we can raise some money, either for water or for some sort of refugee issues or something. And I appreciate the way that we can learn and then also try to do something active.
Beautiful.
In the
That's
world
so good.
with these kids who are growing up and need to know what's happening and also that they are able to do something about it.
Yeah, that's so great.
Also, we went to a goodbye party for Kai's host family, the Chamberlains. They are off to Seattle and they're going to be doing meditation and stuff there. So that's very exciting and very sad to say goodbye to them, but very beautiful to go to their party and say goodbye and all those things. What have you been up to, Ro?
Well, this past weekend was Neil and my 30th wedding anniversary. Hooray! you.
Happy anniversary!
Thank you. So we took a weekend away and went on an adventure down to Lampang, which is about 5 hours on the motorbike, something
Wow.
like that.
And you drove the motorbikes,
We did.
right?
We took our 2 scooters. It's kind of lots of mountains. So you go down the mountain to Chiang Mai and then flat for a little while and then over another mountain range and then it's flat in Lampang again. So it's very, very beautiful riding.
Yeah.
Lots of forest and beautiful mountainous roads and green. It's gorgeous. And we didn't get rained on once, which is amazing.
That is amazing because it's
Pretty
been
amazing.
raining quite a lot.
And it usually rains every time we go away at this time of year. Which is normal, but it's nice to not be wet and
Yeah, soaking wet on the bike.
riding in the rain. So that was beautiful. We went sightseeing and went up a mountain and looked at some amazing views and looked at all the old buildings in the old city of Lampang by the river, which is very beautiful. I've heard people say that it's like how Chiang Mai was 50 years ago. Still has lots of old architecture and the old wooden buildings and lots of beautiful old stuff still and lots of pedestrian, places for people to walk along.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was over the long weekend. Well, we had a long weekend. We also, I'm just going to mention a little shout out to our amazing gardener who's working here at the garden today. You might hear him in the background doing some weed whacking or whippersnipping if you're an Australian. And today we've been working on garden beds. So we should post a photo eventually of the garden beds that we're working on. They're beautiful. We've been learning how to lay bricks and make it just a gorgeous, gorgeous looking place. We'll send you some photos, friends. We also want to tell you about 2 other lovely people who are coming to join us up here in northern Thailand. Laura, who has recorded meditation introduction for this podcast once before.
Yes.
She's coming in just a few weeks' time for a few months, 4 months or so, I think.
We love her.
Can't wait for Laura to be among us. It's going to be beautiful. She is with another Shekina community currently, and she'll be coming over to join us here. And also the beautiful Claire and her then husband. What I mean by that is they're engaged, but by the time they come, they will be married.
Very newly married.
Yes!
It's glorious.
Caleb. So Claire and Caleb are going to come and join us in September for around 6 months. So we're getting excited for new folks coming to join.
We are beyond blessed to
Yeah.
have them come.
It'll be so lovely.
Today's episode is a lectio divina on 1 Kings 19 verses 11 to 13, guided by Naomi and recorded at Shekina Garden in Thailand. The meditation will have 3 parts, starting with some time of preparation, where Naomi will guide you through a few exercises to bring you to a place where you are ready for meditation, where your mind is a bit more quiet, a bit more in your body, in the present moment. During the second part, she will guide you through the verses with a lot of silence and space for reflection, a few questions along the way, and a bit of a breath prayer that she has in the meditation as well. It's a beautiful one this week.
And then for the third part of the meditation, we encourage you to process your experience. So either by journaling, or if you're meditating in a small group, maybe you could share in a sharing circle. So it's good practice that we try to do here as well, to listen well to each other without interrupting or correcting each other. So we use a talking stick or another object, pass it around the circle a couple of times and let each person have really as much time as they would like to share something that happened for them during the meditation. We take it not as a time to teach each other or speak about other observations from other times, but just what happened for you that day.
Yeah, what's going on for you right now and what happened in the meditation.
Yeah, I would say that there's nothing that's too small to share. Just feel free.
Let's begin.
Beginning to find a space that you feel you can hold for some time. While you are, of course, welcome to lie down, we encourage you maybe to stay seated. We want to feel calm and relaxed and safe, but sometimes the lying down can lead us to get sleepy, and we want to keep those minds active. In these next few moments of preparation, if you wanted to take a stretch, move your body in some way that feels honoring to you, please take the freedom to do so. Sometimes before the stillness, we need a little bit of movement. Also, throughout the meditation, feel free to move and stretch and honor your body, giving your body a voice. This is about grace and surrender to the divine. So movement is fine if that's what you need to be able to focus your mind. Maybe take a moment to just find a posture that is straight and uplifting. Maybe pulling the flesh out from under the sit bones. Maybe rolling back just a little bit, feeling the lower belly move in and stacking the hips. Maybe beginning to get tall through the crown of the head, rooting down through the sit bones in order to rise up. Lifting the heart space. Feeling what it is to be in alignment and to be sitting tall and taking up space. If it feels good to you, maybe you want to bring your palms to face upwards on your knees, just in a posture of surrender and of receiving this morning from God. Take a moment to become mindful of this very present moment. We've all come from different circumstances this morning. Maybe it's been a really calm morning. Maybe there's been chaos and rush or some stress. Just try and take a moment to lay that all to the side for this time. If you choose to, you may like to pick up those things back up at the end of the meditation, or just leave them. But just try to become present in this very moment. Take a moment to just scan the body. How does it feel this morning? Are there any little aches and pains? Areas of stiffness? Just acknowledging those spaces, not with judgment, but just checking in. Noticing this flesh, this body, our way of experiencing the world and God. Just encourage you to bring your attention to this tiny little area of skin underneath your nostrils on your upper lip. And as you begin to inhale and exhale through the nostrils, begin to really feel the breath. This tiny portion of ourselves that we so often take for granted, but can zoom in our attention on the breath of life. As you feel the breath on this small area of skin, I then invite you to begin to feel the breeze created by the fans or the wind or wherever you are. Begin to feel the breeze on your skin. Using the senses to be present with your whole self. And I'll just say a blessing as we begin the reading time. Jesus, today as we make space, we invite you to speak. God, speak to the innermost places. God, give us ears to listen, hearts that are open. May we feel safe. Amen. This morning we'll be reading from the book of 1 Kings in the ancient scriptures. This is an old story about a prophet named Elijah who was on the run for his life. That story we'll keep for another day. But just as far as context for this scripture, he was a prophet sent by God, and he believed that everyone had turned on him and of God. And now they were trying to kill him too. He runs into the desert and is pleading and crying out with God. And this is where we begin our reading. On this first reading, I ask that you just let the words wash over you, as if a loved one is telling you a story. Try not to analyze or judge it too much, but just let the words bring up whatever they will. Find Elijah arriving at the ancient mountain Horeb, where Moses received the 10 Commandments. And the Eternal One speaks to Elijah and says, "Elijah, why are you here? What is it that you desire?" The Eternal One said, "Leave this cave and go stand on the mountainside in my presence." The Eternal passed by him, and the mighty wind separated the mountains and crumbled every stone before the Eternal. This was not a divine wind, for the Eternal was not within this wind. After the wind passed through, an earthquake shook the earth. This was not a divine quake, for the Eternal was not within this earthquake. After the earthquake was over, there was a fire. This was not a divine fire, for the Eternal was not within this fire. After the fire died out, there was nothing but the sound of a calm breeze. And through this breeze, a gentle, quiet voice entered into Elijah's ears. He covered his face with his cloak and went to the mouth of the cave. And the Eternal One spoke, "Why are you here? What is it that you desire?" On this next reading, I invite you to begin to listen for a word or a phrase or an idea that stands out to you. Something that just seems to keep popping up. And begin to question, why is this coming up today? What may I need to get from this passage? What may the divine be trying to speak into my life? The Eternal One says, "Leave this cave and go stand on the mountainside in my presence." The Eternal passed by him. The mighty winds separated the mountains and crumbled every stone before the Eternal. But this was not a divine wind, for the Eternal was not within the wind. After the wind passed through, an earthquake shook the earth. This was not a divine quake, for the Eternal was not within this earthquake. After the earthquake was over, there was a fire. This was not a divine fire, for the Eternal was not within the fire. After the fire died out, there was nothing but the sound of a calm breeze. And through this breeze, a gentle, quiet voice entered into Elijah's ears. He covered his face with his cloak and went to the mouth of the cave, where the Eternal One said, "Why are you here, Elijah? What is it that you desire?" Take a moment to refocus your attention back on your breath. If you found it a helpful visualization, maybe imagining that space again just below your nostrils on your upper lip. And begin to feel the breath once again. Maybe you'll find it helpful to place one hand on your belly and feel the belly rising and falling. And before we read once again, I want you to find for yourself a breath prayer. This is an ancient practice of using the breath to inhale the name of Jesus and exhale our greatest desire. Take a moment to ask yourself what you desire from God this morning. Why are you here? And in your mind's eye, begin to pray with the inhalation and exhalation of your breath. Inhaling the name of Jesus. Exhaling your desire from God this morning. Often when we put our hopes or desires out there, it can feel vulnerable. So in this next reading, I'd like you to try and, from a safe space of continuing this breath that is steady and calm, begin to allow emotions to rise. How do you feel? And why do you feel that way? Leaving that breath prayer to the side just for the moment, begin to listen once again. The Eternal One said, "Leave this cave and go stand on the mountainside in my presence." The Eternal passed by him. The mighty wind separated the mountains and crumbled every stone before the Eternal. But this was not a divine wind, for the Eternal was not within this wind. After the wind passed through, an earthquake shook the earth. This was not a divine quake, for the Eternal was not within this earthquake. After the earthquake was over, there was a fire. This was not a divine fire, for the Eternal was not within this fire. After the fire died out, there was nothing but the sound of a calm breeze. And it was through this breeze that a gentle, quiet voice entered into Elijah's ears. He covered his face with his cloak and went to the mouth of the cave. And the Eternal One said, "Why are you here, Elijah? What is it that you desire?" Take the freedom to return to that breath prayer if it feels safe and good for you. Asking yourself, why are you here? What is it that you desire from God today? As we approach our final reading, I want you to take a moment to feel once again the cool breeze on your skin. To feel once again the cool air entering your nostrils and the warm air exhaling from the nostrils. As you feel this cool air on your skin, take a posture of listening. What may the divine be saying to you today? The Eternal One said, "Leave this cave and go stand on the mountainside in my presence." The Eternal passed by him, and the mighty winds separated the mountains and crumbled every stone before the Eternal. This was not a divine wind, for the Eternal was not within the wind. After the wind passed through, an earthquake shook the earth. This was not a divine quake, for the Eternal was not within the earthquake. After the earthquake was over, there was a fire. This was not a divine fire, for the Eternal was not within this fire. After the fire died out, there was nothing but the sound of a calm breeze. And through this breeze, a gentle, quiet voice entered into Elijah's ears. He covered his face with his cloak and went to the mouth of the cave. And the Eternal said, "Why are you here, Elijah? What is it that you desire?" If you've slumped a little bit, take a moment to get long through the base of the spine and rising up through the crown of the head once again. Finding a good and well-aligned posture, grounding down through the sit bones in order to rise up. If it feels good to you, maybe place one hand on your heart, the other on your belly. And begin to inhale. Feel the chest rise, the ribs splay out to the side and the belly lift. And on your exhale, feeling the belly drop, the chest drop, the ribs come back together. Inhale, fill the whole body with air. Exhale, release it all out once again. As you do this, feel the breeze on your skin once again. The soft and calm breeze. Maybe you may like to wriggle fingers and toes or take a stretch here. Taking a moment to come out of this place of solitude with the divine and back into the company of others. Take your time here, honoring your breath and your body and what you need. And when you're ready, you may blink open your eyes and we'll begin the talking circle. We'll know that you're ready when I see your eyes open.
When you are ready, take a few deep breaths and begin your time of journaling or sharing with others. Thank you for joining today. There will be a new guided meditation each week, so don't forget to subscribe on iTunes or sign up for our newsletter to get podcasts delivered to your inbox at www.shekinacommunity.com/podcast newsletter. Have a beautiful week. Blessings to you.